Hello, and welcome back to Analyzing Albums with Animals. So today's album that I'm going to talk about actually came out back in November, and it's Mumford and Sons Delta. So this album is pretty long. It has 14 songs, and definitely it's an hour long, so a lot of music, which is great. And yeah, so let's just get into each song individually. So their opening song is called 42. The numbers there don't spell it out. It's the number 42. And I think it's a really interesting, it starts immediately with the lyrics. So it's a strong start to the album, gets you kicked off right away without having any like opening or anything. It's just boom, here's some songs, here's some lyrics, let's go. I like it because the music kind of builds in this song. So there's like a little bit of music with the lyrics, and then all of a sudden, as the lyrics continue, there's more and more music. I think they have those short, quick notes, which I love. And then the music fades out, and then when it comes back again, it kind of has this different feel, but it's actually really great. The instrumental music like grabbed me so much in this song, to a point where sometimes when I listen to it, I actually cannot concentrate on the lyrics because I am so blown away by the instrumental part, which is fantastic, and that really does not happen very often. So the fact that this song just like really made me focus on the music instead of the lyrics was great. And the lyrics are good too, but I really like the music in this first song, and I think it was a really good start for the album. Definitely kind of introduces you to the feel of it and what to expect, especially with the changing music, which I'll get into and talk about a little bit later as we talk about more of the songs. It ends with like just music, that first song, which I think is good. But then when it kind of ends, it ends and doesn't really like carry over into the next song, which is Guiding Light, which is their single coming out before the album came out. Really solid song. I really like the lyrics. I really like the music, especially when coming after 42. I think it was a really good follow-up. It has a really similar feel without feeling too much like the same song. So I think they did a really nice job with that follow-up song. And again, Guiding Light is a really good song. I like the lyrics. I like the music. The bridge is pretty interesting. It's like just kind of that like weird instrumentally sound. I wish they would have extended it because I do really like it. But I can see as a single why they maybe wouldn't do that for like the radio edit. But I would have loved to hear a longer version of that on the album. But yeah, good song, a great follow-up, good second song. The third song is one of my favorites on this album, and I think it might actually be their next single off of it, which I hope it is because I really love it and I think it's a great song. So the song is Woman, and the music starts with just a simple guitar, and then the music and the lyrics are saying, the way that he sings the lyrics and the verses is pretty fantastic. I really like how he sings Do You Ever Really Know, and the way he holds like some of the words like just a little bit longer than some of the other ones, and I think it really grabs your attention because you're like, oh wait, this is not how my mind would have thought it was going to be saying. And then he kind of sings it, and again it's just like that subtle like holding of a word a little bit longer and making it's just so wonderful. And I think they did a really great job with this song. I love the pre-chorus. I love the chorus. I think it's really great. The pre-chorus builds up into the chorus like seamlessly, and it's just such a good transition. This song like easily just takes me to another place, and I love that when a song does that. So I really love this song, and I think these first three songs are really solid. And yeah, definitely worth checking out Woman. If you're not going to check out any of these songs, check out that one for sure. Then after that, the next song is Beloved. Oh, talk about hitting a wall for me. It has a good start, right? It's got those shorter notes. I'm not really a huge fan of the lyrics, which I feel bad about. This song seems to be about like an older woman in this person's life who is maybe not making it much longer, and like all the things that she did to encourage and impact and have this like effect, and I'm not a fan. I don't like the way he sings it. It's like the second part of each line he like goes into a different key or makes his voice higher, and the music is like still in, it just like doesn't seem to match quite right. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this song. I do like the bridge of the song, like just the music part in between, like after the chorus and the verses. But yeah, definitely not a song that I'm a huge fan of. And then after that, The Wild is next, and it starts with a subtle piano, which immediately pulled me in. I really love the instrumentals to this song, and some of the lyrics kind of grabbed me, while others didn't so much. I really like the bridge. The very beginning of it, I'm not a huge fan of, but then as it continues, I like love it. They add like layer and layer and layer of music and instruments, and I think it's really fantastic the way that the song ends, and they just end with that instrumental part of it. And I really like love that they end with the instruments, especially considering like the name of the song is The Wild. So I think that it's really like cool that you kind of allow the listener just to get lost in the end of this song. Yeah, so I definitely do like the end of that song a lot. And again, the beginning is great and some of the lyrics are really good. Definitely a solid song. And I appreciate it, especially after a song that I don't love so much. And then we get to October Skies. This was the first time I listened to this album. This was the first song that I was like, can I skip this? It's a slower song, and it definitely is a song that sounds a little bit more country than some of the other ones on this album, and I'm not a huge country music fan, so it's definitely not my favorite. I also think because Beloved and The Wild are slower songs, and then you come again with another slower song, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like, let's get back to this whole, like, you know, Guiding Light is a little bit more poppy, 42 is a little bit, Woman has, like, a lot of stuff going on, and then you get these three in a row. Lyrically, it doesn't really do anything. I do think the lyrics get better as the song goes on a little bit, but at the beginning of the song, it's just not really my cup of tea. Don't really like this song. Definitely could have done without it on the album. Then the album is saved. Slip Away is the next song, and I really like this song. It starts with that short, quick notes that I love, and definitely in a more poppy way, and I, for some reason, just, like, really do appreciate a lot of the lyrics in this song. So one of the lyrics is, slip away in the night. I don't know why. They repeat it a couple times, but it's a really good lyric. I like it. And they also talk about, like, in the bridge, they talk about, like, having dirty hands and then suffering, and again, I really like that. They talk about breathing, and just for some reason, the lyrics really, like, pop out to me, and it could be because I didn't like the lyrics from the song before, but I do really like the lyrics in this song. I think it's really good. The chorus is okay. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But what I do really like is the music that comes right after the chorus. I think that it's really awesome, and they have, like, a really nice build-up, and I do like this song overall, especially the ending. I think it has a really good ending, and yeah, and then it, like, goes up and builds up, and then it kind of comes down at the end. So I do like Slip Away. And I definitely think it grabbed my attention again after kind of October Skies had lost me, and then I get pulled in again, which is nice. I like that I'm, like, now back into the album, and I want to listen to it, and I'm excited to hear what comes next. Then quite possibly my favorite song, Rose of Sharon, is just so fantastic. It just starts with this, like, simple opening, and then it, like, suddenly gets kind of poppy, and it has, like, these quicker notes. But then, like, when the lyrics start, it kind of changes even more, and it's, like, a drastic change, but a great change, and I just, like, love the lyrics. I think it's such a sweet song. It would be an awesome wedding song, especially if you know someone named Sharon, or one of the members involved is a Sharon. But yeah, so I think it's, like, really great. They have hand clapping during the bridge, which sometimes hand clapping is awesome, and most songs it is, so I do appreciate that as well. And again, it's just, like, a lot of, like, different layers, right? The hand clapping is kind of random when you hear the beginning of the song. You're like, oh, wait, we are hand clapping now. Like, okay. So I do really like that. The line that I love is, with love too deep for words. They repeat it often. I really like it, and that's, like, one of the lines that they repeat at the end. I think it's a really great song. Again, it's, like, this poppier but, like, sweet song. It's really great, and it's a great follow-up. And it also, again, is like still pulling me back in, especially after those 2 or 3 songs that didn't really do it for me. After that, Picture You is a fantastic follow-up. So good. It has a totally similar feel to Rose of Sharon. It's a little bit slower, but the lyrics are really good. I really specifically love the way the word away is sung in the pre-chorus. I think it's really great. The lyrics are strong. The ending goes right into the next song, which is the first time that really happens in this entire album. So it's definitely interesting that they chose this song to go into the next song. And so the next song is called Darkness Visible, and this is like a transition song. It's not really, I mean, it is its own song. It's like 3 minutes. But it's a lot of instruments, and they have like a lot of talking that's over it. Almost like you would hear on like an old radio show or something. I think a lot of the things that are said are definitely interesting. I definitely enjoy it. Sometimes I really like things like this, and sometimes I really don't enjoy things like this. I think this one is pretty okay. I mean, I don't know that I would seek it out on like just say, oh, you know what? I feel like I haven't listened to Darkness Visible in a while. But I definitely would not skip it if I'm listening to the album, and I don't even think I would skip it if it just randomly came on shuffle. It's definitely interesting, and the instrumental part is really good. But then the thing that's kind of not great is that it ends abruptly and doesn't go into the next song. So I really would have loved to see the connection from Picture You, Darkness Visible, and then the next song, which is If I Say. I think it would have added a lot to that, and it would have made it like that transition more of a transition song to kind of go from the first song into that like next song and then into the next one. And I think it would have made the album more of a cohesive feel for sure. But to just end abruptly like that was a little bit jarring. But again, it's one of those weird things where it's like just an, okay, like this is a transition thing. It's not really like singing a song. And it has a lot of like deep things going on with it. So definitely an interesting song. Again, I wouldn't necessarily skip it, but I wouldn't necessarily seek it out either. The next one is If I Say, and I really like the lyrics to this song a lot. It starts with those quick separated notes, so obviously I'm already a huge fan. The only thing I don't love is the chorus, just because it repeats the same words. So it like just is not, the verses are so clever, and then when you get to the chorus, it's just doesn't really say anything new. So that kind of like definitely takes away from the song, right? You have these really strong verses with these really strong lyrics that like are really like sending this message, and then you get to the chorus and it's not the same. The one thing in the second verse that I love the lyric, I know I came off better than you, it doesn't mean that I feel better. And I just like, I mean, just the concept of that and just thinking about what that could possibly mean and what that situation is when you know, come off like being in the better position from somebody, but then you like, whoa, don't think that just because I like won this battle means that I feel better. So I really like that concept, and I feel like a lot of the lyrics and the verses do that. And then when you get to the chorus, you're kind of just like, oh, okay, like that's fine. Like if I say, I love you, like, it just kind of takes away from the song a little bit. And I wish that the chorus maybe was a little bit better developed. But again, at the end, the strings, part of the bridge really adds to it. And I think like at the end, because they just repeat the chorus a couple times, the strings definitely make the repeating of the chorus a little bit more bearable and makes it a little bit more interesting, because I can kind of listen to the strings and not be stuck with just the words. But again, pretty good song. Really like the verses. Wish the chorus was a little bit better. After that is Wild Heart, and yeah, I realized I said before that a song has dirty hands in it, and it doesn't. This is If I Say is the one that has dirty hands in it. Sorry about that, but yeah, please forgive me. Okay, anyway, moving on. Wild Heart, really not a great follow-up to If I Say. It's very slow. The lyrics are just kind of very unimpressive. I really just, it kind of has this totally different feel. Even the slower songs that I didn't necessarily love in the beginning, like Beloved and October Skies, I mean, they at least kind of meshed with that feel of the album. This one, for some reason, I just totally took me out of the feel of the album and just made it really hard for me to enjoy the song. So yeah, this is definitely not a huge one. I mean, they rhyme the same words, so they use inspire, way. It just was kind of definitely a song I would skip on an album. Probably even a song I would skip on shuffle. Not a huge fan of this song, but again, it's like hard. Where do you place a song like that? I'm definitely glad they kind of gave me more pop-beer songs and then played a slower song rather than putting this next to October Skies and The Wild and Beloved, because I feel like that would have just been too much. Would have really, really made me maybe not even finish the album. So again, not my favorite song. Kind of a downer, especially after If I Say, which again, love the verses to that song, don't really love the chorus, so it kind of just, and then to follow up with a song that I really don't like. But at this point, we're almost at the end of the album, so the next song is Forever. This starts off slow. It is a good follow-up to Wild Heart. It definitely keeps with the same theme, so even though you were taken out of it, it kind of comes back again, and is maybe Forever is like a good transition back into the theme of the album, so you kind of like are still following the theme of Wild Heart, and then you kind of also are now going back into the theme of the album in general. I'm not a huge fan of this one. It's definitely like a country ballad song, and I don't enjoy those at all. But after the first chorus, I think the instrumental part definitely gets a little bit better. I really don't love the lyrics in the pre-chorus. They talk about like being in London, and it just is not, like, it's too much of a story, which is terrible because I love songs that are stories. I actually really appreciate when a song tells like a nice story, but for some reason the way that the lyrics work with the music and the lyrics itself is just not, I don't love the lyrics. But I will say, in the bridge, the last line of the bridge really does get me, and I think that it's a fantastic line, and I think it's also a really interesting concept. Are we too sentimental to not look back and stare? I think it's a really great line, and that was like definitely the highlight of this song in particular for me. But yeah, the last part of the chorus gets repeated, definitely too country for me, and even though I do like the end of the song is a little less country, it's not enough to save the song for me. So again, this is probably one that I personally would skip. If you like country-ish music, then this song might be great for you and you might love it, but definitely not a huge fan of this one. And then we get to the last song. So this song is like 6 minutes long. It's called Delta, which is the title of the album. And this song is a roller coaster for me, for sure. Parts of it are fantastic and I love it and I am so excited about it. And then other parts are just like, okay, like it's fine. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just okay. So it starts with like slower instruments, and the lyrics are okay, nothing mind-blowing, but nothing terrible. The two lines before the chorus, which the chorus is kind of a loose term for this song because it's so long, the song kind of goes through these phases. But the first time a chorus sounding part comes in, I really like the two lines right before it. When the chorus part starts, the music changes really drastically, and I really like the lyrics a lot. The drastic change is maybe a little bit too drastic, but I still like it, so it doesn't really match the first part of the song that well, but I still like it, so it's an okay change. But I think in like 42 and even in the Rose of Sharon, I think that they drastic changes in those songs were much like better fit to the song, and it kind of, even though it was a drastic change, it still continued to be like part of that song, whereas this is a drastic change that almost doesn't feel like still part of the song. But again, the music builds up again, and I really like that. When the lyrics come back and the build-up continues, the lyrics are kind of, I don't really find them interesting. But then the guitar part changes, and that's like really good. I really like that. And then when the verse comes back, the lyrics go into the chorus, but there's not as much of a drastic music change, and then it begins to build up, and then the chorus repeats, and so again, there's just like a lot going on in this song, and it's a long song. And then for the ending, the like music starts to slow down, and it's just this little kid talking. Again, mixed bag about how I feel about the song. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I don't. Definitely something I want to keep listening to so I can kind of hone in my opinion about how I feel about it. But yeah, overall, definitely worth checking out some songs. Again, it's an interesting album, and it's hard to come up with 14 songs that are going to keep someone's attention from start to finish. And, you know, Mumford & Sons has such a unique sound anyway, so, you know, trying to make 14 songs that sound totally different and then, but also, like, keep to your sound is really a challenge, and I think that they did a great job. Overall, I really like the album. I think there's definitely a couple songs that are my favorites and will be songs that I continue to listen to, whereas some other ones I'm happy to just say, okay, I listened to it a couple times, they're all right, but yeah, no. Yeah, so I would love to know what you think. Are you a huge Mumford & Sons fan? Do you think I'm accurate? Do you think I'm maybe a little too harsh? If you haven't listened to the album yet, maybe listen to a couple of the songs. Let me know what you think. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!